With Vince McMahon out of the WWE, it seems like Triple H is making some major changes that might just make it a lot more popular than AEW. Tony Khan recently had a media call in which he discussed various issues surrounding the company, including problems with the WWE and the whole AEW interim title announcement debacle. Today, we'll be taking a look at that and more, so without further ado, let's dive in. First, Tony Khan discusses the way interim champions were announced. Tony Khan spoke to the media for over an hour in the lead up to the All Out event. During the media talk, he addressed a lot of different headlines and tweets over the past few weeks. One of the things that AEW was criticized for was the disparity in the time given to the male and female champions. A Twitter user showed how CM Punk was given over 8 minutes of screen time to announce his health situation, while Thunder Rosa, the women's champion, was given a fraction of that time. This did not go down well with a lot of fans of women's wrestling. However, Khan didn't really think that the two situations were similar at all. He simply thought that Punk was a bigger rating draw than Rosa was, which, to be fair, is undoubtedly true. He said that you simply can't please everyone. Up next, Khan talks about issues with the WWE. Vince McMahon's retirement was pretty unexpected, and just when it seemed like AEW was coming up with a really fresh product, Triple H took over and significantly changed the way that WWE was run. But in light of the regime change in the WWE, Khan was asked whether or not there was a possibility of a collaboration between the two pro wrestling giants. After all, Triple H would be a lot more likely to collaborate with another company than Vince would be. Khan said that at one point he felt optimistic about the way things were going with the WWE. He thought that a collaboration could have happened sometime in the past, but now it seems impossible. He cited the way the WWE has treated him as the reason behind the apparent impossibility, but still, with Triple H around, we're not too sure if it's really impossible to see the two promotions together one day. Next, Khan talks about declining Rampage ratings. One of the topics that came up during his media call was the ever-declining ratings of AEW Rampage. This is something that has been happening for a while. Since Vince left WWE, WWE shows are generally getting higher ratings when compared to last year, while AEW shows have continually declined. Khan addressed this by saying that the company is doing all it can to increase the ratings, including beefing up the star power that's present on the show. He said that he wasn't able to hold big matches on Rampage like he always did due to the continuous injuries being faced by AEW talent. However, he expects things to get much better in the coming weeks. He also added that AEW Rampage was one of the top 2 shows on basic cable for the past 13 weeks, and that for 10 of those weeks, it was number 1. But for now, major stars like CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, and Adam Cole have been out because of injury. These stars are the primary ratings draws for the show, so it's not exactly shocking that the ratings are down. Coming up, Khan discusses the Moxley-Punk feud. The CM Punk-Jon Moxley feud has been one of the most anticipated feuds in the history of AEW. People have been following these two from their indie days down to their WWE days, and now they can finally face off against one another in AEW. He said that Punk and Moxley are pulling some amazing ratings numbers, which is good for the company overall. Even though fans have been loving the feud so far, some noticed that it's booked a lot differently than other feuds. Punk became the shortest reigning champion in AEW history when Moxley took the title off him, and instead of automatically going for a rematch, he had to be persuaded into accepting a rematch by Ace Steel. No champ has been booked like this before. Khan explained this type of booking has given the creative team some freedom to keep the fans guessing what's going to happen the next day. He says that the reception to the booking has been pretty great so far, and he's excited to show off some of the other booking decisions he's going to make in the future. Up next, Khan is excited for a full roster at All Out. The biggest AEW event of the year, All Out, is set to take place on September 4th, 2022. Khan says he's very excited to see the full roster finally be there at the event. In case you missed it, CM Punk was out due to a foot injury. Adam Cole was out due to a concussion, Danielson out on the same day, Moxley was out due to alcoholism and rehab, and more. He said that booking the Forbidden Door was extremely difficult due to the lack of star power, but just in time for the biggest event of the year, it seems like all of the stars are gonna be back. Danielson returned in July and he's set to face Chris Jericho. Jon Moxley and CM Punk will both be back and will likely headline the event. Adam Cole isn't booking for the event, event, but there are rumors that he'll be back soon, and that could mean he'll be making a surprise appearance in the event, even if it's a non-wrestling role. Overall, there was no way Khan was going to let All Out fail due to the lack of star power, and it's looking like it's going to be an event we'll all remember for years to come. Next, Tony Khan tells us how Moxley's different now that he's sober. A lot has changed between last year and now. In 2021, Moxley was at rock bottom, struggling from crippling alcoholism. But in December, he went to rehab and got clean. Moxley's currently sober thanks in part to AEW support. In a recent interview with Yahoo Sports, Khan described some of the changes he has seen in Moxley since he made the decision to quit alcohol. He said Moxley's mind was a lot clearer, and he was a lot more friendly with some of the people backstage. He also added Moxley looks healthier and fitter than ever before. He moves around a lot quicker and is very smooth in the ring. He said it was a complete breath of fresh air. He couldn't be more excited to have him around as the AEW champion, and Khan has very big plans for Moxley in the future. Now, let's take a look at some other related news. First, Mark Henry talks about a potential MJF return. MJF has not appeared in any AEW show for a while now. He no-showed an event during the Double or Nothing weekend, and it was later revealed that he was having problems with CEO Tony Khan. Apparently, the problems concerned MJF's pay, which he felt should have been higher. He had not appeared in a single AEW program since May. Although he hasn't officially left the company yet, Henry believes that even if MJF and Tony Khan don't sort out their personal differences, it's still possible for the wrestler to return. He cited himself as an example of someone who had managed to work with people he wouldn't even, quote, throw pee on if they were in a fire. For now, Henry doesn't really know if MJF is gonna return to AEW, but he's praying that he does. Up next, Triple H reveals whether or not he watches AEW. Ever since Triple H took over Vince's spot as the head of creative in the WWE, a lot of fans have noticed some of the inspirations he took from the competitor, AEW. Because of this, Triple H was recently asked whether he watches the show. During an interview with BT Sports, he responded by saying he doesn't really have the time to watch it on a weekly basis. He's running his own show. But he added that he's, quote, aware of what's happening there to a small degree. He said that sometimes someone backstage would say something like, oh, that's similar to what AEW did, and H would just respond by saying he had no idea because he genuinely didn't know. He also sneaked in a jab at AEW at the end of the interview, congratulating them for, quote, beating our developmental show in ratings. And finally, Chris Jericho responds to Triple H. Triple H's jab against AEW didn't sit too well with his former friend and colleague, Chris Jericho. He pointed out how Triple H is revising history in front of our eyes by pointing out that NXT was no longer a developmental show. WWE itself claimed that NXT was a third brand. Jericho also said that NXT sucks and that no one cares about it anymore. He said that Triple H's comments probably reflected how insecure WWE was about its own product, but Jericho ended things by saying, quote, we care more about our own product than any sort of competition. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think of AEW's need to keep the product fresh? Let us know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.